What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. New Orleans Saints and Rashid Shaheed have agreed to a one-year extension. 1 year, $5 million for Shaheed. And I got to say, this makes a lot of sense from the Saints standpoint. I wonder, and this is very service level, right? But I do kind of wonder for Shaheed how much sense it makes. Now, look, obviously that is somebody who, when was he UDFA or a late draft pick? I'm trying to remember.
UDFA.
He was UDFA. Okay, so he's only set to make about $900,000 this year. And this
so he's restricted probably, and so like this to him, it's really just him getting a bone kind of, because like he would not have really had any leverage.
Oh, okay. So because he would have been hold on. So help me out here. So but this is where I'm confused. If he hadn't signed this, he would have been a restricted free agent next year, right? Which means that he could negotiate with other teams. But no matter how high the offer got, the Saints would have a chance to match. Now that he signed this, that's no longer the case. Like, he's not going to be able to negotiate with any other teams next offseason. But he gets $5 million, I'm sure, fully guaranteed. Yes. So, I mean, that's obviously the payoff, right? But why I say maybe this is kind of a smart play by the Saints is, look, they're going to rely on Shaheed to be wide receiver 2 this year. He's already an all-pro returner. Like, if Coombs ends up being the man, Taliesu Fuanga is really good, all the ifs that we always talk about, like Shaheed could actually have a pretty big year, and I'd be interested to see what his value would be on the open market. Credit to the Saints. If he does have that big year, he's not going to be able to test that value, and they'll have a couple of years to kind of negotiate and see exactly what they want their future to be. Either way, congratulations to Shaheed, becoming an all-pro from UDFA, getting this $5 million. That's got to feel great. But again, I think pretty shrewd from the Saints front office potentially here.
Yeah, so I was trying to find out like who makes $5 million a year, like receiver wise, like in the NFL, kind of like where that would be. It would be somewhere like in the 45 through 50 range, and so like
that feels undervalued. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
It's going to be more than Chris Olave. Chris Olave is going to make $4.8 million next year. It is, it feels like a pretty good value for the Saints, because you start to look at some of the other numbers around it, like Brian Thomas from LSU, like he's a first-round pick, and so his rookie is going to be in signing bonus, but his rookie contract is going to be about $3.6 million next year. It's really in kind of the Adam Thielen's making $8 million, Curtis Samuel's making $8 million. Okay. Hollywood Brown's making $7 million. Okay. Darius Slayton's making $6 million. So it's kind of in that territory a little bit, because I think the actual number
then actually
it's 5.2 for Shaheed. So
that kind of checks out there, because he's definitely not proven to be on those guys' levels yet, but I could see the potential there. Fun fact: since the start of the 2022 season, only 2 wide receivers have more catches of 40-plus yards than does Rashid Shaheed. And that's even with missing about 7 games that time. Shaheed has 11 such catches. Amari Cooper has 12. And Tyreek Hill has 16. So, again, all the potential in the world. Already an all-pro returner. Last year, over 700 yards receiving. Already, obviously, as that stat shows, one of the better big play threats in the entirety of the league. And now, a year where he's going to be a new offensive system, which what did Willie Snead just say? This is a system where the check down should always be wide open. And if it's not, then something super explosive over the top is. Well, a lot of that explosivity this season could come from Shaheed. So, look, hard work recognized and honored by the New Orleans Saints, but also maybe a smart play there, kind of locking him up for a couple of years where I could see him potentially taking a very big step forward this season. We'll see.
Yeah, this is a year where that $5 million can feel like a real value for the Saints. $5.2 million, whatever it ends up being. Now for him, like he secures $5.2 million, and that's nothing. I mean,
it's life changing.
it's certainly something. It's not just, out there talking about, $800,000. We're talking about $5.2 million for somebody that wasn't drafted, played at Weber State, right? So like he probably never thought he's going to make that much money, but it's a smart play by him getting that guarantee money. It's also a smart play by the Saints because he's your receiver 2. I mean, he is wide receiver 2 firmly on this football team. He's your best returner, obviously, as well. I wonder how much of that kind of goes away now that they're going to be counting on him so much offensively. But, I mean, he is set up to have, I think, close to 1,000-yard season. I mean, he's right there. Derek Carr certainly has a lot of faith in him. One of the better moments from last year was Derek Carr being like, "Hey, Rashid, run. We are coming to you." It's, hard play action, and that's what he can do for you. He can change the game. And so I actually think it's a great deal for both sides, which typically doesn't happen in the NFL.
Well done. Well done, Saints. Well done, Rashid Shaheed. Well earned. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.